So going into game 3, who's going to be your biggest X factor?
Hmm. Biggest X factor going into game 3. I'm going to go a little bit of a different. I know we've talked a lot about Danis and Jalen Duren. I think
Mhm.
not kind of like another X factor in this series is Duncan Robinson. Like,
Yeah.
like specifically, like a big thing that's kind of like that's been there to watch for him is keeping him on the court because he's been getting hunted on the defensive side. We knew that would be coming with Duncan Robinson. But like he's been getting hunted, which is, forced him to struggle with staying on the court at times. Like game 1, I think some of their struggles in the first half could really be attested to the fact that Duncan wasn't out there for so much of it, which like it's very similar to last year where it's like Malik essentially was our 3-point shot creation. Duncan Robinson is essentially this team's 3-point shot creation, So when he is available, when he is out there, obviously this team's just a lot better for it. Even like I think some like the defensive conversation around him could be a little overblown. I think he's better than people give him credit for, but like, it's just even just having like the calming presence of someone who has so much playoff experience, like the most on the team, probably by far, when you look at like his career with
Yeah.
Miami. So, I kind of expect Jalen Duren to still be working through some of those struggles. I think like Danis, it's like, like his minutes can kind of come and go, but like if the Pistons want to win this series and want to get deep in the postseason, like they're gonna have to continue not only keep Duncan on the court, but keep him playing well.
Yeah, I do agree there. I do have a X factor as well because I thought he played so well in game 2 when he got more minutes off the bench is Javonte Green.
Yep.
I thought he did such a good job defensively, especially against Paulo and then switching and communicating.
Led the
Um,
team in blocks in game
yeah,
2.
I know Ron has kind of struggled a little bit in the playoffs again. Maybe JB looks to lean on Javante with his veteran leadership as well. I to me, like I think he has such an opportunity to be a disruptor in the half court, especially because I know he wants to run out and just dunk every damn ball when he's out there and just create
Mm-hmm.
chaos. But Duncan, I believe, was my X factor when we did a show, I believe, this week earlier
Yep.
because everything you mentioned, like the playoff experience, and I don't know if you caught that sound up bit from him on ESPN about him talking about like, yo, let's move the ball. We have 9 assists at halftime.
Yeah.
And just like, little stuff like that, like just hyping up his teammates, telling them like, let's have fun out there. I think it's really important of being like this kind of a leader and having the most playoff experiences on this entire roster.
He's been incredible for this team all year long. And, again, just with like the spacing things that he brings, but like you said too, just like the leadership, the presence, the smarts, the basketball IQ, just his presence on the court just does mean so much. So it's like he is a guy where it's like if he gets in foul trouble early throughout the series, like that is going to be trouble for them, especially in like a road game where if they're hitting their shots, like we've already seen, with like teams like Charlotte, where it's like if you don't get back into that one quickly, like games can get out of control down there in Orlando.
Yeah, and Orlando fans are very well, I think, still emotionally scarred by Duncan with his time in Miami.
Uh huh.
Uh, when I talked to that Magic podcaster this week, shout to Steven, he's like, "Yeah, man, every time I see him, man, I swear, just PTSD, PTSD."
He was low key a killer back in the day, man. With some of the shots he's hit, like he's hit some big shots.
Yeah, man, it's especially that bubble run. I don't even know why. Like I went down a rabbit hole a couple of days ago just to watch his bubble run highlights and just some of the threes he was hitting, man. I was like, good lord.
And you could tell
Absolute
he didn't want to release it on half the shots, but it like Spolster would just be like, shoot the ball. He'd be like, okay. And even he would be shocked it went in.
he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. And like now, like it's kind of full circle on the Pistons because like now it's really fun to watch because you can see the confidence is there. Like he's gonna pull the trigger, and like you could tell mentally that like it doesn't affect him nearly as much. I can't even think of like any major shooting lulls this season from him. Like like there may have been like, don't get me wrong, every shooter has like a couple games here and there, but like he's been pretty like remarkably consistent all year long.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he finished the year shooting over 40% from three, which, he's done a couple times in his career, but I can't really think of like him having like such a like maybe a bad week. Maybe he had a bad 3 games in a week, but I mean it didn't last. Like I remember when we signed THJ last year and he started off the season shooting like 60% from three, but he had like a month and a half where he was shooting like 25%. I
Yeah.
can't I can't really think off the top of my head if Duncan has actually had like lows like that this year.
Yeah, I don't think he's had. Tim was so unique though, where it's like you could
Yeah.
almost tell immediately based off of like the first 2 to 3 shots what you were getting from him that night. It's like if he had some ones that like clinked out or were kind of like a little uglier miss, it's like, all right, this is going to be kind of a defensive game for Tim. Whereas like there'd be moments where it's like, oh, he's got it going. Which, by the way, shout out to Tim for being a finalist this year for Sixth Man of the Year. With Denver, I thought there was a real chance he could have won that award. I still think he was probably the best value signing this offseason for
Oh
what he
yeah.
gave them, and I don't think it's close. So, just wanted to give a shout out there because he does deserve credit for how he's done in Orlando this year.
And he gave us probably the best meme of all time.
Oh my gosh, man, incredible, incredible.
I I know it's a funny meme when it gets dropped into my work Slack channel. That's that's how I know it. That's how I know it's funny because I work with a lot of people that are much older than me, and they're like, I said, "Hey, did you finish the project today?" And then like they send me that GIF. I was just like, "Oh, okay,
Uh
okay,
huh.
you
Uh
didn't
huh.
finish it."
When it hits with the normies, it's like, oh, all right, this has got a different level.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Tim Hardaway Jr. took a charge and he was really hyped up that he got the charge. And even someone dubbed Kendrick Lamar's voice screaming ah on it, made it 10 times funnier. I was like, oh my God, man, I love
That's
the internet.